Okay, we're ready. Ciao, bentornati a questa nuova puntata di D.I.R.G. Sono Fabio, siamo su Radio Raheem e oggi sono molto contento di annunciare che ospitiamo per una breve intervista, lunga intervista, lì vediamo come si evolverà, gli Play Super Strangers in occasione del loro tour europeo, il quale stanno facendo insieme ai Contra Void. E per chi non lo sapesse, stasera gli Play Super Strangers suoneranno al Santeria di Milano e senza nient'altro da aggiungere. Adesso praticamente faremo tutta la parte dell'intervista e verso la fine ascolteremo anche un po' di tracce della loro ultima pubblicazione di Rare and Deadly, che sono una sorta di compilation con tracce mai pubblicate, B-sides, eccetera, eccetera. E, passerò a parlare in inglese perché giustamente la Play Super Strangers non parlano in italiano. E quindi, hi guys,
Hey,
I'm
how's it
here,
going?
doing good, you?
Great.
I'm here with Oliver, with Sandra, and John. They're Play Super Strangers. Thank you very much for coming here.
Thank you for having
Um,
us. We're
so-
so stoked to be here. It's sick,
Yeah.
so yeah.
So, starting with the interview, I just want to be sure. I saw on your Instagram that I think a couple of weeks ago you lost someone stole a pedal.
They did. Yeah. Yeah, someone stole a pedal. I think people think at that same show, a couple people even tried to steal guitars. I think people think because we throw all our gear around, they think that we don't want it, but we want it. And so it's real funny too because the pedal doesn't really do anything that they stole unless they have this other pedal that it works with, but whatever. I guess they wanted a memento from the show or something, but very strange, I think. You know, why would you steal someone's gear that you're going to the show? So, yeah, you know, that's one of those things you have it with you for years, you know, and there's like a little bit of weird sort of sadness. But then on the other hand, you know, whatever, I guess, you know, sometimes people kind of get strange ideas and, you know, they need to connect with the world and find out what all that stuff's about.
So you haven't found it yet?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe you should do like Madonna with that dress at the Coachella that someone stole for her. That'll do.
Oh.
Paying a price for that.
Oh yeah, yeah. If anyone is watching, I will pay them €5 for this pedal.
€5. And if I remember, €5 is the price that I pay. I remember this stuff when I went to Sonic Blast, like I think it was 2023 that you were playing there. I was telling you before. I bought ice cream sacks. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Fuck yeah.
And
Cool.
the weird thing is that I bought it for like €5, I think. And I was adding the record to my collection on Discogs, and I was like, okay, this is good. And when I saw the price, the average price was like €80, and I was like, okay, wait a second. I paid €5 for that, and right now it's €80. And then I realized that there were some scammers trying to sell the ice cream sacks for a higher price. Do you know that?
I mean, that stuff happens all the time. It's like, you know, that's where someone's selling those things for super big prices. And they, you know, we sell all sorts of stuff and merch that we've even, you know, held onto for years and is in the back of some closet somewhere, and we'll bring it back out. That's like the first Dead Strange release. It even has Dead Strange 001 even spelled differently than we called our label. So, you know, we made that for a tour. I think maybe we were going to Japan or something, and we wanted some light merchandise to carry with us in a suitcase. And so we made that record of a bunch of live crazy recordings, and they're limited, but, you know, what is the value of stuff in all these records and stuff? It is maybe something for someone, but we still have them. And for us, we don't sell stuff for inflated prices because I always think that sucks. Kind of like ice cream.
But you, but you're not selling it anymore, the ice cream
We
sack?
might have it. I don't know. Do we have any of those?
I think we sold out.
No, we sold out. We had some,
€80.
€80. Yeah, and we had
You
some.
can do it
Yeah,
with 100,
yeah.
it's fine.
There's still some in New York. So if anyone wants to come by my house, €5, $5, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, and and coming back to the question about your pedal, I was just wondering because I realized that you were really angry with that pedal got stolen, and but what is the exact work, that job that does pedal do, and your wall of sound of your gigs. I mean, why is so important that pedal? It was made by you. That's another question.
Yeah, so it was, and really it's just like it's a controller for this other pedal, you know? So it's like it's this kind of just sort of silly, complicated computer program thing which switches these channels and you can select what it's sort of doing and what it's controlling. And so I can't really do that without that pedal. But a friend of mine back home made me another one, and another friend of ours was flying over here and gave it to me just a few days ago. And it also controlled this other pedal that I had at home, which I didn't bring with me. So it was a thing pedal that would control two pedals. And, you know, so it's like for someone else, it's not really going to do anything.
Okay.
So unfortunately, they just kind of like have a piece of art that looks like an old submarine part or something, which I get, you know. That's kind of cool. But
it also doesn't really matter that it's a pedal or what it is. It's just like more a bummer that someone steals something from stage. And it was extra mean, I find, because it's right at the beginning of the tour. And it's like, you know, we go on stage and really try to make every night very special. And, you know, everything that is on stage is needed for that. So it's a bit like, yo, we really tried to make this happen here. Why do you make it harder for us, pretty much?
So please, guys, if you know that if someone has this pedal, please call Oliver. But is it a pedal that you sell on the Bayardo, or it's a custom one?
we would never sell one of these kinds of pedals. With a bunch of the stuff that I use would be too stupid for anyone else to use. So, you know, they wouldn't want to use this. And that's one of the things that could be good to make your own stuff, because you can make something that's perfect for you and would be terrible for everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be a good experience for the one that stole that pedal.
No, I mean, they have a really sweet doorstop. You know, or paperweight, or, yeah, something. Ashtray.
Take off the back and make it an ashtray.
These are great ideas. Yeah.
I think I'm having fun using this microphone there and there. I hope it's working for the people that are here in the interview. And okay, talking, I have another question. You, at the beginning of April, I think the 3rd of April, you released Rare and Deadly. That is, as you say, on Bandcamp. It's more than a compilation. It's like a documentary of what happened in the last, I think it was our B-sides from 2015 to 2025, right? Can you tell us a bit more about Rare and Deadly?
Yeah, it's, you know, it's a collection of a bunch of different tracks that like almost made it on records all throughout that time, and there was a bunch of interesting things like collaborations with a friend of mine and some other things that were kind of done, and it just encapsulates those different times. And you know, since there's some of those songs that are like written and then maybe kind of abandoned, then I think you get this kind of like interesting, pure essence or picture of what was happening, because you didn't have none of these songs are really that polished or anything. And so it's just like the lyrics were written while the guitar was being played right at that moment of everything, of the drums and everything. So it's, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of always like those sort of things. You know, maybe it's like Hank Williams Sr. said something like, if you can't write a song in 5 minutes and throw it away. So something like that, you know. I think it's like Iggy Pop's thing too, where it's like the song can only have like 25 words or something, which, you know, these are all good lessons to learn for a song. Like, you know, another friend of mine, Joe Kelly, wrote this song called Dumb is Fun. You know, and I think that's like, there's something sweet and sincere about that.
And are you guys playing do you have it on the playlist, these songs from the Red and Deadly? I mean, are you going to play it during this tour, or
Never.
it's just besides?
Never. Never. No, we'll see. You know, we've been playing a few of the songs from Rare and Deadly, yeah. So it just depends. We always like write the set list right before we play, and so we'll see what we feel like tonight, and perhaps.
And people can find it on the merch that you're going to have.
Yeah,
tonight.
we'll have Rare and Deadly for sure for sale on the merch, unless it's sold out. But I think we still have some copies. So, yeah, we got some more copies in Rome, I think. Yeah, so we're okay for now.
Right.
Yeah, for tonight. But that's it.
And what about new material? Are you working on new material like working on an album? Or
Yeah,
something?
always. Yeah. So we recorded a bunch of tracks. Where were we? In Berlin and in California with two different friends who are amazing sound engineers and music genius wizards in their own rights. And so that was really fun. We did that for a few days, and then we've been kind of finishing stuff up over at Death by Audio at our space. And yeah, I'm super excited. This stuff sounds like totally bananas. It was even kind of part of the reason why I thought we should come out with Rare and Deadly, because the stuff that we're doing right now sounds so like so much more intense, so much more kind of like full on and wild and crazy that I thought that this would be a good time to like, if I don't release these kind of raw demos now, then maybe they'll never come out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you guys think about? I don't know. Maybe if John or Sylvia, if you want to answer this question, the whole three. In these times, we have all those digital music platforms that I don't want to say the question. I don't want to ask the question if it's a good or a bad thing, but I grew up like buying records, hearing records, and if I like a record, it's like going obsessive with that record and feeling the physical stuff. I also broadcast music, and I must agree. Sometimes I download illegal music and then I buy the record and whatever. But do you guys think that those modern platforms? I'm not saying Bandcamp because I think Bandcamp, in my opinion, is a great stuff. It's good that we have Bandcamp. From my point of view, I don't know from A Place of Very Strangers point of view, but those Friday Bandcamps and et cetera. But there are some other platforms that I think we're going through a superficial hearing. Those platforms that uses playlists for making people like hear only one song. Oh, this song is cool. Maybe you can skip that song even if it's cool, and maybe you can use that money for I don't know, investing in war machines and whatever. I don't want to say names, but what's your point of view about it?
You giving me the microphone? Sure. Hi.
I think this is a question for
Yes. No, yeah, I can start. I think I'm probably aligned with what you're hinting at. Like, I'm not a fan of it at all. I do understand how easy it is and how convenient to create your own playlist, and there's a platform that gives you suggestions about new songs and stuff. I understand that appeal, but I love records. I love cassettes. I love like the physical part, and for me, music is art. So I feel like I want the humanity in it, and I feel with all these platforms, it's a lot of like, you start consuming music as something and it's in the background. And I think oftentimes people forget that behind the music, like A Place for Strangers or other bands, there are actually other humans who create something. And these platforms, it feels like it loses its value in a sense. So, and Bandcamp, yes, there's also another one. I don't know if you heard about it, Subvert. It's I think it's even New York City or New York based, and it's a co-op. The idea is a co-op, so you can become a member, and they just launched, so you can go online, become a member, and all proceeds go straight to the artist. Like, they upload their music, and then get all the money from it. So, shall I keep?
I'm not a fan of it either. So, yeah, I've been trying to wean myself off of Instagram, and Sandra and I have another band. We took all of our stuff off of Spotify. It's making music even more corporate than it ever has been, and yeah, I'm trying really hard to get out of it, but it's like it's not easy. Yeah, they made it so simple. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I wish it would all go away. Yeah.
And you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's even like a certain kind of value that I'll be finding and searching for these songs that I can't find on these places. And then you really just have this so much more of a feeling about this. Like, I was just thinking about this on this trip because I have like a bunch of songs on my phone that have been either bought from Bandcamp or downloaded or from download cards or something. And, you sort of like start to really, kind of have these tracks and you're kind of building up and I'm still like searching for adding these things that I could potentially put on my phone for, if I needed to DJ with my phone or if I'm in the van or something and want to listen to music. And listening to it on Spotify for some reason or whatever, any of these fucking platforms, it just, I don't know, just for some reason, it just has such a bad feeling to me where like the next song that comes on just sucks. And then it's like, I find myself skipping over these things and not really, I don't know what, it's like, it probably even sounds the same or something, but it just totally kills the vibe for all of this. And it's like, I don't know what, it's like, I think that there's something totally empty in all of those things. And, maybe that's just in my own head or something, but I miss the days of like hunting in record stores, and we still do this to some degree, but when there was no other way to find this track than if you found it at this record store, and then that 7-inch really meant something to you, and that thing was really awesome, and you'd share it with your friends. You'd be like, dude, you gotta check this out. This is so sick. We used to go over to people's houses. You'd be hanging out all the time, playing music for each other, partying and stuff. It wasn't all this other clouded bullshit crap all over the place. And I can even see it now out in this courtyard. There's a bunch of people like on their laptops and their phones. There's two people sitting right next to each other on their phones. Maybe they're skipping, they're probably skipping the album. But I remember that too. I was riding a bus somewhere and there was like this couple and they were so sweet. And I was sitting alone on the bus and they were like, do you think we could maybe, sit on the two seats together because, we're on this really long bus ride, and there's no other seats with two people together. And I was like, no problem. And I let them sit there because they looked like they were madly in love. And they go sit down on the seats and they're just on their phones the whole fucking time. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. You could have sat anywhere on this bus, you need to kick me out of the sleeper seat. Anyways.
I think, I want to double down at that point because I think it's, we are lacking human connection by now. With all, and I mean, again, all that digital stuff is also great because sometimes how do you get in touch with other projects around the globe, I mean, that was really hard back in the days, but this having, or just realizing that we all need each other in a sense, rather than also AI-produced music. That's why I'm just like, it's a question in my head, like, for what do we do this? For what is AI-produced music necessary? If again, music, it's like how humans express themselves and connect with each other. So if we're leaving that to AI, what will this do to us? Because we're already, right, everybody's on their phones constantly. We're losing the opportunities to practice with each other, to be in connection. And I feel this is part of the problem that we have in the world right now, what is happening all over the place. So I made this whole thing way bigger, but yeah.
Great. We spoke about music, digital music, and now I would like to ask a common question, a usual question. I want you to name one song that you're into during this tour. Like, I don't know, you wake in the morning and, okay, what the fuck, I need to hear That Moon. I don't know. And by the way, nice cap.
Yeah.
And by the way, I must admit that record you made of the covers of That Moon is like, wow.
Sick.
Yeah, I remember I was in a condition that I cannot say on the radio because maybe I can get fired from my job and whatever. But we were surfing in Bilbao, in Spain, northern Spain. And we had one day off from surfing because it was flat. And we were like, okay, let's go into the Guggenheim, to the museum. I had some candies, let's call it candies, we ate many candies, and when we came back because we went to the center of Bilbao by train, and then we left the car because we were in the northern part of Bilbao. When we came back, we drank a lot, and we were like, okay, it wasn't supposed to go that way, but I was like, okay, now I need to hear Dead Moon by A Place of Very Strangers, and after that, the record of Dead Moon. That record is like, wow. But it makes me real evil? Not evil in a bad way, but like caliente, I don't know, whatever. But it's like, okay, cool. It gives so power. So to the people that are hearing us, don't do what I was saying that I did there, but take a look to the record of the Dead Moon's cover of A Place of Very Strangers. So if you guys need to name one song that is a cool song for you right now during this tour, what will you say? I'm going to start with Sylvia.
I think spontaneous. I'm really sorry, Contra Void, that I don't know your song titles, but the set that he plays every single night, I wake up in the morning with all these beats in my head, and I really enjoy it, just for the record.
The 15th by Wire.
Wow.
Owls, Body Bags.
I don't know them. Let's take a look.
That's cool.
And then I didn't know that you guys had a band. I need to dig.
Yeah, it's so sick.
What's the name?
Ceremony.
Ceremony.
Ceremony East Coast. Yeah.
It's only you two?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But
So sick.
have you already published a record?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We've been around just as long as Place Bear Strangers. Yeah, yeah.
Good to know. Okay.
We've had different lineups, just like Place Bear Strangers. So yeah, yeah. So.
But as John Peel said on an interview talking about the fall, it's like I think A Place of Very Strangers is always different, always the same, because also Marcus Smith was like changing many lineups. I don't know if you're like Marcus Smith inside the band. I hope you not.
I hope not. But no, A Place of Very Strangers is an idea of a band, I think, and that's will kind of always sort of stay that idea. So yeah.
I think I'll never forget when I hear for the first time. I think it was in 2007. I was like using, because I used a lot Last FM back at the time, and I'm still using it for scrolling, for have my MP3 charts and whatever. And I was like hearing the Last FM radio. That was a great radio. If you were into some underground stuff, you get to discover many great stuff. And then I found this. I read the name, and it was A Place of Very Strangers. So I was like, that's a weird name, and I heard the song, and I was like, okay, it was so good.
Awesome. Oh yeah, thank you. Right on. Yeah, that's one of those things. I think, music can make you feel all sorts of ways. Sometimes I'll look at a band name and I'll be like, what the fuck is this? And then you listen to the music and you're like, oh, this makes sense. And so, I don't know. I kind of like to listen to the music before I hear the band name, but either way is good.
Great. And talking about back at the time, I was talking to you because for the people that are hearing or watching the interview, I interviewed Oliver. And at the time, there was Dion Lunadon 2010. You were playing in Rome in it. That was a great, great show. Cool. And I remember there was also Dion Lunadon. We ended drinking together. He was like, I think he was spinning records there and potting there. Dion is good.
Possible, yeah, for sure. Yeah, good times.
Yeah. But you're still doing great records, and I saw you keep alive. You keep the power.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I think we're always going to try to keep it and get more and more intense as time goes on, and that's kind of the essence of the band.
And how are you gonna do? How are you gonna do when you get older, like at 70, that you can like break those guitars and the strobo?
Intensity doesn't have to be something broken. Okay. You can make things more intense.
Also, how do you know that Oliver won't be able to throw a guitar when he's in his 70s? I think that's but I think that's also like a bit like the bias about like getting older. That you can't. Yes, of course, certain things we won't be able to do anymore. But at the same time, I think it doesn't. Being rock and roll or having fun or being able to be curious about things, that doesn't have an age cap. So yeah. So yes, come out when Oliver turns 80 and see what's.
Be faster, crazier, more wild.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that in like 20, 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll be doing this again.
I'm going to be waiting for that question.
Yeah, for
And talking about broken guitars and all because you do a wild set. I don't know, for the people that maybe don't know A Place for Very Strangers. It's like there are like guitars flying and strobo lights, like doing, I don't know, like whipping that strobo lights. How do you manage to like, keep it safe there? Because it's like you're in three, and it could be kind of dangerous. But when I see you at the stage, it's like you're doing so good. It's like so organized.
It's like it's one of those weird things where you're kind of having this sort of out of body experience, and then the one thing that you're kind of focused on is like, don't hurt anybody. For me, so it's like it's this really weird kind of place. I mean, it happened even just the other night where it was like I threw this guitar up in the air, and I was like, oh, that could potentially come down and hit me in the head if I couldn't see at this moment, So I was just like, but I'm aware I'm not like trying to hurt anybody. If anything, I've hurt myself, and that's me who put myself in that dumb situation. I don't want to put anyone in a bad situation. I mean, there's definitely times where we'll jump into the crowd. There might be like cables running around. There's always the chance where, you could have an accident anywhere you're at. And, but we're just trying as best as we can to, be there for the community, paying attention to what's going on. And if something were to happen, we would stop the show and try to,
I mean, I think we definitely love it wild, but we never forget about the responsibility that we have towards like the crowd that comes out, and also like everything there that is owned by the venue. I think sometimes people might think like, oh, A Place Where Strangers comes to town and breaks everything. If we break something, it's just our own gear and ourselves, but definitely nobody else or nothing else. Yeah.
And who manages to repair all the guitars? Because it's all made by yourself. How do you do it? How do you recover like all the pieces? It's like when you're.
She recovers most of the pieces. But, John helps recover the pieces.
So there's a teamwork.
There's teamwork for that. For
Yes.
sure,
Yeah, definitely.
And John will
Yeah.
hold it, and I'll clamp it, and then we're all working together to make sure everything works.
Yeah,
John,
he has the glue and everything, like screws. You wouldn't normally see screws this long going into a nice Fender guitar.
He's like a mad surgeon. Like whenever we arrive at the venue, like all the guitar pieces come out, all the wood glue, and he goes from there. It's pretty impressive. I think it's really impressive.
How do you manage to repair? For example, you broke a guitar yesterday, guys. Is it okay for today, or you have like a spare part?
Today it's being glued. So it's in the backstage right now, all reassembled, all glued. I put new screws in it, and it's all ready to go for tomorrow.
Okay.
And so I bring 5 guitars and a few extra necks, and then they're all being like reformed as the days go on for the future shows. And so sometimes they're ready for the show and sometimes they're not, but we're basically just trying to build them as strong as they possibly can be. And, it's like being set up every single day to be like a totally reinvented guitar. But in that same respects, sometimes you only got one string left, and it's 2 inches off the fretboard, and it's your job to make the song go.
It's amazing. That's really amazing. How many guitars do you have with you?
I brought 5 guitars. I probably have some more at home.
And what about your bass, John? Your bass is okay.
Luckily, it doesn't break. I don't break my guitar. It's definitely got thrown around, but just the paint scratched on it. Basically, it plays well.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to know how is the process of creating a Place Very Stranger song? I mean, you're in the studio working on a new song, but you need to convert that also in the performance that you're going to make during your live gig when the guitar is flying. I don't know. It's like, what's the connection between doing the song in the studio and then doing it live? Is there a particular part of the creative part?
I think it's just the essence of the one where it's like, when you're in the studio, you're thinking about in the studio or being there trying to record a song that we want to hear at that moment and listen to. And, when you go to play live, it's sort of almost even like relearning the song, but just to be the bones and see what's going to happen. And, anything can happen at our shows, and the songs can change in any way, and every room is totally different, and we have to set up different because of this and do setup. And we're not really particular about like, oh, this song has to go this way or this has to sound like this, but what's the most beautiful thing that we can hear in that moment, and kind of just go along with that.
I think none of us want to have, people having the experience thinking after the show, oh, I also could have just stayed at home and listened to the album. It's supposed to be different. And I think, I can only speak for myself, but I think you guys feel maybe the same in the sense of I would not want to play the same songs every night in the same arrangement, but I want to be in the particular moment. And that also means that maybe one night the crowd is super punk, that we speed up a song or like change a part or whatsoever. And then there is a crowd that is really more, you can sense, oh, they really want to dance. So we might pick rhythms or like songs that work better that way. But yeah, anything to add?
No, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I totally agree, and I feel like I used to have some, like, people used to sell a lot of bootlegs of records a lot, and I remember just so many of those bootlegs being so fast, and maybe it was because of like cocaine was popular in the 80s or something like that, but it was just so cool to hear like the Misfits where like Glenn Danzig is trying to speed up the band, he's yelling faster, and all this stuff, and it was just so cool, and you could just feel the energy of everything that was happening, and it was I don't know, it's like those things made my mind imagine what we do now as a band.
Great. And one more question, and how is it? When I saw the poster of the tour that you were touring with Contravoid, I was like, what the fuck? This is gonna be huge. This is gonna be great. And I told you I saw him in Netherlands at the Grauzoon a couple of months ago. How's it going? How do you guys get in touch? Like, okay, let's fucking do it together. I don't know. Who wants to answer this?
Well, that started with our lighting engineer. He went on tour. He has his own band called Lunacy. And he went on tour with Contravoid, and then Ollie came up with the idea of asking Contravoid, and I guess, what did he say about the date?
Yeah, I think he was maybe a little reluctant because he could just as well do like these headline tour of the same thing that we're doing, but he saw the dates and it was so many with so few days off. He was like, oh, this looks really fucking crazy. I accept.
Great. I'm so curious to hear the whole set tonight.
And also, like, we just like right away just became friends with him. Like I'd never met him until this tour started, and he's a really cool guy. Like, a lot of fun too. So,
Yeah.
Like you three. And also great musicians. And well, thank you very much for coming here. I really hope for seeing you again in the next years, in like 20 years, and 80 years old or something like that.
Yeah, totally, it'll be good.
And
we'll be going slightly gray.
okay, well, thank you again, guys. So now I'm gonna add some words in Italian and present this. Grazie a te. Bene, adesso è rimasto qualche minuto. Io per adesso, come dicevo all'inizio, per chi si fosse sintonizzato dopo, lascerò 3 tracce di Rare and Deadly, che è l'ultima pubblicazione delle Placeberry Strangers, che appunto suoneranno oggi in Santeria. E quindi quello che ascolteremo da Rare and Deadly sono 3 canzoni, che è Songs for Girl from Macedonia, Heartless and Where Are We Now. E per chi ci ha seguiti durante l'intervista, grazie, e chi no ci potrà ascoltare nel podcast che sarà pubblicato domani. Ciao, sono Fabio da D.I.R.G e siamo su Radio Raheem.
Giant tear place to